These dual swords.
Hey, what's wrong, Hiseo?
So yes, it's time for that fated day. The day Haseo returns to being Mr. Death-Dealing Scorpion Man. Speaking of, I hated the depiction of the third form armor in Roots. It was not balanced with the game depiction, or the sample artwork, or the various released wallpapers and anime-esque images at all, nor did it look like any of the potential early renditions I've been able to come across from research. Hack Roots, where we can't even get our characters to look right. And Terrace meets Haseo as he comes to Daldana for the quest, teasing him about its need. So, we meet up with Gaspard and Syllabus to do the quest. And right as they enter, they start annoying Haseo, who's focused on the power-up, by taking the time to reminisce
He said it!
On their first meeting. And yeah, it is a bit annoying. If you've been playing these back-to-back, you would have seen the events a few days ago. And timeline-wise, it's not been more than maybe 4 to 6 weeks. It seems out of place, but it serves a purpose in the narrative, mainly to not let Haseo lose sight of what's important. Most of the doors in the area are locked with questions about the world's mythology. Which you'd know if you read the entries in the login screen I pointed out way back. You did read them, right? No? Well then, I guess you're not getting through this area. Eventually, Haseo blows up at the pair for seeming to goof off, but honestly, how are they supposed to know Adelie's life may be on the line if she remains as she is? If he doesn't recover her face from Ida? They don't know what's going on. He doesn't tell them. And so, he goes it alone once again. This entire event has been precipitated by that earlier backpedaling on Haseo's character, Yada's betrayal reinforcing a need to rely only on himself. But despite that, Haseo's changed more than he realized. Alcade saw it straight away. And this leads into what I think is one of the trilogy's best scenes.
Alone, this would be easy. No one's slowing me down, or nagging me, or pissing me off, or betraying me. Power. The power I believe in.
But now that I've fought beside you, I know that's not the case. You're always thinking about your friends out there.
Friends. Yeah, but you shouldn't have them in the first place. That way, you'll never have anything to lose. Or so I thought.
And he thinks back on everyone he's met, on everything he's done since he was forced back to level 1, the need to rely on others, and everything he's gained as a result.
I'm such an idiot. I always seem to forget the things that are really important. I think I'll bring those guys along after all. From now on, we're moving forward together. Hey, wait up! Ah!
So, they meet back up, and return to the beast statue. Syllabus and Gaspard revealing had he opened it on his own, he would have lost the chance entirely to get the extension, but was not told that by Antares, who was using it as a judge of character, to see if he had really grown and learned. And thus, Haseo is allowed to evolve again, resolved to never lose anything he's gained this time. And to emphasize that, as Antares is seen congratulating him, Haseo says what he couldn't before.
Thank you, Master.
The terror of death is dead. Long live the terror of death. And now that Haseo's a fully unlocked adept rogue again, he gets some exclusive abilities to make him an ultimate powerhouse, finally bringing the power of the adepts to the foreground. Yeah, the adepts are handicapped in their growth, but it's so worth it to get it here. First off, the second extension gives Haseo access to Flick Reaper skills with their scythes, which are effective crowd control. Second tier adepts can utilize multi-trigger, allowing for all the skill triggers an adept can use be used simultaneously, swapping dynamically from weapon to best take advantage of the weakness of monster types, though you can only assign 4 skills. I usually set it so Triangle and X have Twin Blade skills, as Twin Blade attacks are best used to deal with flying enemies, specifically the skill Sparrow Counter. Broadsword attacks go to square, and scythe skills map to circle. And lastly, you have Divine Awakening! Divine Awakenings are both an asset and a hindrance. See, it utilizes a timing mechanism to get second points, called the Perfect Hit Bonus, which are then used to charge up a super attack. The seconds you gain, the time limit you're given to button mash. Everything to give a greater boost to the Awakenings. The Swift Twin Blade Sword Dance, the Blazing Broadsword Hellfire Quake, and the Crackling Scythe Plasma Blade. The efficiency of the Perfect Hit Bonus is dependent on the affection rating of the party. The higher it is, the easier to get the Perfect Hit Bonus. Swords Dance is ironically the hardest to get footage for, as you have to actually try to fail enough to even get it. Hellfire Quake and Plasma Blade are just far easier to get when your party likes you. And, as I keep affection ratings high with everybody I can, the first time I played Reminisce, I didn't even know that Sword Dance existed until I saw an attack compilation video on YouTube. Still, all of them are powerful, easily outclassing Beast and Demon Awakenings in most situations even without the attack boost. Adelie messages us with an area Zelkova recommended, the adept meeting up with the 2 women, and getting some great interplay.
Your girlfriend found it, right? Anyway, it looks pretty good to me.
What? No, I'm not his.
I see. For real?
Yeah.
Is that right? That's good.
What? What do you mean by that?
Show of hands, who wants a romantic comedy revolving around these 3? Just me? Damn, can't even find good fan works of that. I'm serious, I love the interplay these 3 have. It's very entertaining, and one of the reasons this is my favorite part of the trilogy. It takes a break from the somber, serious attitudes to have a little more fun, and fleshes the 3 out more as a result. Admittedly, it is a bit unrealistic to go from looking down on a guy, to hating/fearing him, and then crushing/flirting with him with such a quick shift in opinion. But what did we really know about Alkaid before this? Not a lot. So, getting over herself and her pride made her look at Haseo differently. Maybe coming to like what she sees as a potential partner? Enough of the .hack fanbase sure ships it. However, as they finish the area, Adelie's panting in exhaustion, making Haseo realize she's still struggling to cope with her disability. Emphasized in the scenes as they return to Daldana by her gripping her paralyzed arm within the game. Adelie's symptoms have not gone unnoticed by her guildmates, now contacting Haseo to talk about her condition in the area, knowing the significance of the term sign. There is a sign in the area, leading to a very special lost ground. The Inverted City, a reformatted rendition of the Inverted Castle, known as Wailing Capital Walled Uberlisterin. Nala reveals a bunch of privileged information about Adelie and Ida to try and build some trust, before selling out the identity and modus operandi of Haseo's next opponent, Hiraki, another Moontree division leader. Now, you're probably wondering why that text overlay revealing identities didn't pop up for Nala before, like I've been doing the last few months. Well, listen to that voice for a few seconds.
I took the liberty of viewing your performance at the last tournament round.
Yeah, it's Yada. We know it's Yada. It's never explained why Takumi Hino has yet another character running around in yet another guild, especially in Moontree, but it's something of an open secret, the man merely changing his voice slightly to do the act. I guess it could be that he used it as an in to investigate IDA signals from the Moontree at home, but to be a division leader there implies he's been there for quite some time. The next in the Abyss quest chain popped up a bit earlier, two Vital Vistas attacking a third in hopes they can revive an ancient entity from the world's past, which is sealed within an egg. They need another item, a Nucleus of Light, which the dying Vital Vista has, handing it over to Haseo for safekeeping. It's also at this point I tracked down the Doppelganger again. Yeah, while you want to do it near the end of Rebirth, you should do it almost as soon as you can after getting the third form. And utilizing the Sleipnir strategy can kill it this time in under 4 minutes. The first fight giving another key item for later, and 2 of the 3 Heinz weapons. Another fight with the Doppelganger gets a third key item, and the third of said Heinz weapons, 1 for each of Haseo's classes. And by doing this, congratulations! You've just made Haseo completely broken, and this volume is now ridiculously easy to beat. Yes, the Heinz weapons are level 51, but outstat pretty much everything else in the volume, drain enemies of HP and SP, and of other status inflictions and damage increases. It really does turn Haseo into a one-man army, and alleviates the need, somewhat, to have a healer around, so you can experiment with the other party members. Though I always prefer to keep Adelie around when I can. It's also wise to level a bit, so I also hit up the quest Shadowtail Dog and Masquerade at this point, the former reintroducing Beakman! Yes, this frustrating artist wants us to find a rare monster that doesn't possess a shadow. It actually has the power of illusion to fool its pursuers, so it's kind of clever. But then you need to start hunting down everybody in the game for the flyer event. Masquerade is a quest from Dingo, for an intermediary PK hunting license. Yes, PKing never ends in the world, so the chaotic PK rankings have been reset for Theta Server. Speaking of, the chaotic PKs you must vanquish this volume are Fiery Genie 5, Immortal Goroki, Magical Pokotan, Silent Teru, Suzuki of the Seven Seas, Wicked Ibaku, and Wicked Garango. And no, I have no idea why Wicked is a title twice. And for clearing the blacklist, you get the Invincible Shell armor, which you can only start equipping at level 92. Worth it though! The license quest has you hunt for a beekeeper's mask, in an area completely devoid of monsters. Oh, they're there, but they're clever, waiting until you're deep in the dungeon to strike, so as to blockade your ability to leave. It'd work better if not for the fact every floor of an area has a way station to leave the area instead of being forced to go back to the beginning of the dungeon. As Haseo is once again Death Incarnate in all ways, shapes, and forms, Hiragi and his backup is barely a challenge. Though it is immensely satisfying to crush the macabre dancer after the introductory cutscene, which shows just how caustic Sakaki's dogma is. Hiragi being his most... I'm not even sure how to put this. Well, might as well bite the bullet. Hiragi is a homosexual individual who cross-dresses. Yeah, if you don't get the joke, it's only because it's not funny. You ever wonder why cross-dressing pops up in Japanese series that aren't about it, and seem really out of place? Well, that's because it's supposedly comedy to the culture. The joke being that these people who do this are outside of the norm. They don't really see it as offensive to the LGBTQ community, and I apologize if the acronym for that has changed or I got it wrong. They just don't see it as offensive at all. Hell, overall there's not seen anything wrong with having a non-standard gender identity as far as I can tell. Professional comedians and idols over there can have being gay or a cross-dresser or a reputation of playing those kinds of characters as a claim to fame. I would like to attribute this to the cultural impact of kabuki, where most if not all of the actors, regardless of the gender, tend to be men, so it could be seen as commonplace, but I haven't done enough research to verify that. On the surface though, it seems pretty progressive. Problem is, it's rarely seen used in the right context for recorded media, coming off as nothing more than a joke. Characters featuring this angle not having the aspect justified sufficiently, as it's intended as a throwaway gag or point of mockery. And unfortunately, Hiragi comes off as one of those. A homosexual man still wanting to embrace femininity while anonymous in a game despite retaining his masculinity. It's simply just sad. Especially as he believes himself in love with Sakaki, trying to demoralize Adley to make her the team's weak link and defeat them so he can get closer to the man he adores and win his affections both on and offline. Yeah, spoilers, Hiragi is 22 and Sakaki is 12. Yes, our villain hasn't even hit puberty yet, and someone wants to bone him. You see why this is hard to talk about? To the very little credits I give the creation of this character, he is one of the few examples I can give that is a joke or one-off character made like this that is at least treated decently or with a level of respect. That he isn't less of a person or a joke because of who he is, just how he acts. I mean, dignity isn't exactly there, but it's certainly one of the better examples of this attempt at humor, which frustratingly I find most commonly in tokusatsu. Though Entrance is certainly treated better. We'll get to that. After the match, the team makes small talk before Adley tells Haseo she is going to be offline for a time, getting her paralysis checked out by a specialist. And with that window, Alcade takes advantage to get some alone time. Would you stop that? And invites Haseo to Theta trouble her antithesis, wanting the two attacking members of the team to work on syncing up and understanding how the other fights, so they'll know more about how the other's going to act without needing to speak. However, well, here, Alcade brings up Entrance, and when she last saw him. And if you thought Elk was bad after we killed Mia in the core games, well, after losing her for the third time, he's barely more than a shell. But if you thought the Fields train was going to stop with a man that can no longer see the love of his life when she's right there with him, well, then the end of the area happens. The area's monster drops a very special set of twin blades. Ones that hold special meaning and memories.
Do you know what honeysuckles symbolize?
Huh? Symbolize?
Are you sure about letting me have these?
Yes, please take them. Really. I want you to have them.
Thanks.
Hey, Haseo. Do you know what those twin swords, honeysuckle, symbolize?
Symbolize?
Yes.
No, what?
Devoted affection.
What?
What honeysuckle symbolize?
Devoted affection.
Oh! Oh! I didn't mean anything like that. No, not in the slightest. No, not at all, you understand. I just wanted you to get some better equipment, that's all, to improve your fighting ability, and... forget it!
Shino. At that time, I was happy just having you and Ovan with me. I really didn't need anything besides that. Shino, I miss you.
This right here. This one singular C. I can't top that! It is the final piece of evidence in my case against Roots, and the explanation of why I will never, ever like it. It captures the despair, the longing that precipitated his entire journey, showed the affection that he sought to get back, signs into the delusion he held that Shino was thinking of him when she said those words and not of Ovan. Hell, a sign of where that crush originated from, as due to Shino being in her black character colors, means this was after Ovan was locked up by Yada, giving signs there was something deeper there than was ever shown in that fucking anime. It does more to justify that entire relationship than anything Roots did in its entire runtime. But no! We're going to have people feeling emotion, empathizing with this loss. It was more important to show the after effects and the reputation than to justify the reasoning and giving us the connection they forge. Just, fuck you, Roots. Fuck you. As it stands, I believe you should understand by now why I believe Yuri Lowenthal to be a far better Haseo than his Roots counterpart Andrew Francis. Or hell, why this role is better on his resume than others I can name. Because you see the full emotional range of a human being appropriately scaled to the events in the games. Happy, frustrated, depressed, angry, mopey, wistful. You see the sad, lonely young man trying to get the first person who appeared to give a damn about him back, love interest or no, within his performance here, in this single scene. I opened this episode showing that he's come far from that, by allowing others in where only previously there was a shadow of Shino there. But once again, he's ended up stuck in the past, grieving for the times he may never have come again. And as I've said before, he's not going to truly be able to move on until she's awake and within the world once more. And it also shows that while Alkaid's been flirting, it's likely more innocent and playful than I've been implying with my jabs, acting a bit like, well, a kudere. Her reaction is certainly hilarious, especially if you ship it, but the mood whiplash just ruins trying to think of it as just something to laugh at with the otherwise somber atmosphere. Speaking of somber people, Gaspard's noticed Syllabus has been a bit depressed lately and wants them to team up to cheer him up while doing the Silent Chim quest, which is about investigating a dungeon Dr. Kubo set up to try and cultivate chim as if it were a farm, only for all the chim denizens to go missing. Hell, the game makers even modded it so the chims would not appear at all in this area. Kinda makes you wish they'd thought of that when they did the Hunter's License quest. It's actually an introduction to a new type of chim if you've not encountered them before, the Assassins. When you have a high amount of chim on you, when you take so many steps in a dungeon, the assassin chims appear. The assassin dad hunting chim stragglers. Again, good use of the in-game lore for story to a quest. Though sadly, wrap-up for Syllabus's supposed mopiness only comes in an email afterwards, feeling more left behind than he previously showed concerning the arena and not being chosen to fight. Nala is our next opponent in the tournament, Adderley not knowing much about him, and the game not choosing to reveal it's Yada, yet, so Haseo's not trusting of his actions. We do get good follow-up on Alkaid's alone time, though, as she brings up their exclusive training.
Together?
Yeah, together.
What does she mean by that, Haseo?
Adderley, of course, draws the wrong conclusions. This is ultimately why I don't think the earlier scene, despite the mood whiplash, should be changed, and it allows for further opportunities for comedy in the character dynamic of the three. But
I want you to know I'm really glad to have met the two of you.
You'll see. Nala's not as much of a pushover as Hiragi, but it's still an easy victory, Nala opening himself up to the final blow, throwing the match. Sakaki meets with Bordeaux in the back alleys, the insanity of the Ida infection made more apparent, as Hiragi confronts him, trying to stop his cooperation with a lowly PK. What you have to realize is all of Sakaki's dogma, all of it, is so he could get power and control over others. He really does not care as long as he has minions to command. If he really wanted to, he could have organized assaults on the known PKs and done away with them entirely. But as I went over in Rebirth, his methods merely facilitated a new means of victimization, so more would come to his herd and be disposable. It's the true reason he despises Haseo and looks down upon him. He refuses to bow down and be commanded. As for Bordeaux, I kind of addressed her last game, but I have a bit more to work with from this. Bordeaux is a woman who values strength. It's why she became a PK, to get that challenge. And yes, Haseo is that challenge. But using Scathe against her was the wrong way to go about it, as it opened the door, like it did with Sirius, to other forms of strength which have warped her, her obsession with getting the victory over the ultimate foe now being used to bind her. It's allowing her to be used by unscrupulous people without her even realizing it. Ida can be seen as an electronic drug, the rage virus, what have you, bringing out the darkest impulses of the subconscious and unbinding them, and leaving the body a shell as a result. To try and compete with Alkaid, Adelie invites Haseo for some alone time of her own. Unfortunately, Alkaid happens to pass by and see her as she was getting ready, so she kind of sort of invites herself to the event.
Why did things end up like this?
Poor Adelie. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Kun returns to the storyline briefly, having taken a lot of time to think things over. As much as he can't trust Yada now, this isn't something he can afford to ignore. More people are falling comatose, and Ida's getting smarter. So he invites Haseo to go to an area he's found an infection in. It's really just another generic Ida battle. Now, why would such be needed when there's little story-wise going on to warrant it? The necessity of evolution.
I'm right here!
Yes, as Haseo changes forms, so does Scathe. On top of improved range and melee attacks and a better look, Scathe can now form a giant energy chakram at the end of the melee attack chain. Slashing normal shots from Ida also causes them to be completely deflected, but it's still easier a lot of the time to just simply dodge. Kun sends a follow-up email about his indecision, and eventually he will rejoin the team. It's just a protest of principles right now. However, now comes a point in this game I dread every time I reach it. A return to Kashtja. Alkaid was sent an anonymous email from a player saying they know what's up with Sirius. But we already know what that is.
Alkaid!
And the tragedy repeats itself once again. Another woman's life fading in his arms.
No.
Haseo?
No. Alkaid, don't go! I don't want to lose any more friends. Not ever again.
Especially as he's finally acknowledged how much every single one of them means to him.
Please, don't go! Alkaid, I'm begging you!
Don't cry. You're a strong man.
Alkaid! Alkaid!
What? Expecting me to do the exaggerated streetcar named Desire, Stella! Yell. No. Not this time. This one. This actually hurts. It does, every time I play this game. The point of that joke is to mock a scream of anguish that is unwarranted from the narrative due to various reasons. And it is here. 'Cause Alkaid, she ended up far worse than Shino did. Shino almost lost her life because she lived alone and was of ill health before someone got to her. Alkaid, Sheikah, lives with her mother and was rushed to the hospital almost immediately upon being rendered comatose. And she still almost died. Her heart had completely stopped beating. And of course, it's again an annoying bit of mood whiplash, as the immediately preceding article is advertising a comedy double act Chika actually loves. And it's from people we know, Usagimaru and Rei-chan, better known from the core games as Nuke Usagimaru and Rachel. I know, you wouldn't really care if you didn't know, but on one hand, you're just reeling from the blow of another friend lost to get a bit of elation to know more of the Dot Hackers led good lives past the core games. And on the other hand, you're hit again after that minor rise in mood with more depressing shit. Especially if you're a member of the fanbase that really liked Alkaid. And considering she was pulled as the second most popular character in the GU run of the franchise, that's a hell of a lot of people. And now, she's gone.
I failed again.
And he has to tell Adelie, expose her directly to the type of thing he's been trying to cope with for roughly 7 to 8 months now. And he takes forever to even find the words.
Alkaid retired.
But explanation is cut off by a night attack, though by the time he's done, Adelie's drawn her own conclusions, and begins her spiral of blame, Haseo trying to snap her out of it by taking it upon himself for his own long-lasting failures, but neither is successful. However, some of Alkaid's last words have taken root. Find entrance. And he's given an important clue by Ovan. Return to where they first met. Which we'll get to next time, as after this emotional roller coaster, I need a break. No matter how much I love this game, this part of it is just plain exhausting.